common question I get is in relation to elbow positioning on the support hand. Just want to talk through that real quick. Briefly, the way your support hand contacts the rifle, what I'm looking for is I want to hold the gun against my shoulder firmly, but not as hard as I possibly can. The reason for that is if I'm got my support hand on the forearm and I'm pulling 100% of what I can, at some point my little weak computer nerd arms are going to get tired, and then I'm going to start pulling at 80% and then 70%, then 60%. I'm like, oh crap, I'm not pulling on the gun hard enough. Then it spikes up to 100, and it ends up like a sliding scale. I find it very tough, at least for me, to hold at 100% of what I'm capable of. Instead, I don't know, it's tough to put a percentage on it, but maybe something like 80% of what I'm capable of, or 70%, where I pull the gun firmly, but all I'm looking to do is just have the buttstock stay in contact with my shoulder and not bounce away or separate. So I just want to stay connected to the rifle. So getting into the part I want to specifically talk about is elbow positioning. If I move my elbow all the way out, then when I start pulling with 100%, if you watch the muzzle, you'll see it'll turn, or it'll track. For me, it's going to go, since I'm left-handed, it's going to move off to the right. The reason for that is me pulling 100%, then relaxing. There's going to be some amount of flex. It's going to affect which way the rifle's pointing. Instead, if I angle my elbow downwards, now if I pull like back to 100, then back to 60, and I'm going from like pulling the rifle hard to not really at all, I don't see the sight track one way or the other. For the most part, if you're watching the attitude of the muzzle, there's really not much of a change between pulling so hard that I shake and relaxing. So that's the reason for angling the elbow downwards. It just helps. Your arms are going to, move, and if my arm's going to move, I'd rather have it move in a way where it's not affecting the muzzle a lot. And if I have my elbow outwards like this, the old Magpul dynamic days, I suppose, hopefully nobody's doing this anymore, then if I pull 100% and relax, it's going to steer the gun off course. So what I'm looking for is, in a perfect world, if I just held it at whatever percentage, even like this, if I could just hold it there, never move it, have the tensions be absolutely perfect, I suppose that would be okay. But instead, it's going to move a little bit, my hands are going to get tired, all that kind of stuff. So having my elbow pointed downwards more is just going to help with the sight not moving off target. Fun proof of concept. Not knowingly. So I was shooting with some SF dudes, and at the end of the day, they're kind of having a mad minute, and everybody's mag dumping and messing around for the last 5 minutes. Got to empty out your clips. And anyway, one of the guys was like, "Hey, if you fired a full auto M4 before," I was like, "Maybe." I don't honestly know if I'd had ever shot one before. Maybe once. I was like, I don't know. So he hands it to me, and I can feel people are watching. So I just flip the selector all the way forward, mount the gun, and the target's at maybe 10 meters, something like that. And I just get the pressure, I hold it, just press the trigger, and then I could just see the reticle was just bouncing. And all I did was it's going really well. I thought, don't do anything. So all I did was just hold the gun there, basically in space and time. Again, elbow pointed downwards, just pulling it firmly against my shoulder. And I could feel it kind of speed up and slow down. It felt like the cyclic rate was changing a little bit, but all I did was just stare at the point I wanted to hit, hold the gun against my shoulder, not doing anything. Elbow pointed downwards. It ran through to the end of the magazine, locked open. It looked pretty good to me, but I'm like, hey, was that good? It looks okay. He's like, holy crap, yeah, we can't do that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So anyway, he liked that and thought that was a good proof of concept for just showing the pressures. But anyway, the elbow downwards was very helpful for that group of individuals. And again, just because if you pull harder or relax, it's going to keep the muzzle more in line with your target, and it's easier just like that full auto explanation I was just talking about. I just let the gun eat, as they say, and all I did was just hold it firmly. I did not try to do 100%. I just held it firmly against my shoulder. I could feel the stock stayed in contact with my shoulder the whole time, and then I just watched the reticle. I could see it kind of climbing up and down while I was looking through it, staring at the little point I wanted to hit, and then I ended up with, I don't know, a mini basketball size target or size group, something like that. And anyway, that was it. So in closing, that's my that's what I like using the support arm in the way I do. It's just good because we're all human and it's tough to hold the same percentage the whole time as far as tension goes. So this way, if your elbow's outwards and you pull more or less, you're less likely to steer the gun off target. The other thing you'll notice, shoot especially at distance, sometimes you'll see the sight will start to whip out of the target and come back in from something like 3 o'clock. And sometimes that could be due to the way you're mounting the gun also. Doing more of these. Every muzzle device is going to be a little bit different, and gas length and all that kind of stuff. But what you're looking for with having the elbow down, I see the dot track more up to 12 or 1 o'clock and come right back to where I want it. Especially at 50 meters, getting the elbow out. I was having a lot of issues where the dot would leave the target and it would come in from the side. And then I was you're either trying to time it or wait for it to come back, where it becomes more like sight press, reactive shooting, opposed to being able to hold a constant pressure and just watch the sight come right back to where you're looking. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, drop them below.